Yeah, you know I had to throw in the Levi in the thumbnail again. I felt it was appropriate. So let's go over the Buffalo Sabres' top goaltending prospect. And I'm going to say top because at this point, my goodness, he has been absolutely phenomenal. Let's talk about Devin Levi because playing for the Northeastern University Huskies, their season had just recently concluded, which meant that a whole bunch of Huskies, like Jordan Harris, a few other guys, had started to sign their NHL contracts. Now, we had some players like Aidan McDonough, for example, Vancouver Canucks prospect, who did not sign with their teams, and instead they decided to stay in the NCAA and play another year. Among this group of players is indeed Devin Levi, who, as a 20-year-old goaltender, 6 feet 185, a left-handed catching goaltender from Quebec, he just had himself a season for the ages with the Huskies, posting up a .952 save percentage and a .154 goals against in 32 games played. Now, we've talked about the story of Levi and everything that he has been through over the past little bit a few times here on the channel. We talked about the comparable statistics with historical NCAA data. We talked about Ryan Miller. We talked about Ken Dryden, some other very good NHL goaltenders of the past that Devin Levi has established himself within when it comes to the overall numbers. But even though Devin Levi has had a pretty good, let's say, past year and a bit here, starting off with the World Juniors last year for Team Canada, where he had a .964 save percentage in 7 games played, up until his NCAA tenure this year, he did make the decision to go back to college for his, what would technically be his 3rd year because he was registered with the program last season, although he didn't play any games, but will instead just be his 2nd year of actually playing. And a lot of Sabres fans went out there and said, why? Why is Devin Levi, a guy who was very good in the NCAA, going back to the NCAA to play in that league again? It's not like he has anything else to prove. I mean, look at all the awards he won in 2021, 2022. Let's just go through everything here because I think it's comically funny how long this list is. He was a part of the Hockey East All-Rookie team. He was a part of the NCAA Championship team. He was a part of the first All-Star team. He had won the Goaltender of the Week award in the week of January 10th, 2022. He was the Goaltender of the Year for Hockey East. He also was the Player of the Week for Hockey East during the weeks of February 28, 2022, October 4th, 2021, December 6, 2021, October 25th, 2021, November 22nd, 2021, and November 29th, 2021. He was the Hockey East Rookie of the Month in October as well as November. He was the Rookie of the week of March 14th. He was the Rookie of the Year. He earned the 3 Stars Award. He was the Rookie of the Month in November. He was a Top Collegiate Player Hobey Baker finalist, and he was a nominee for the Hobey Baker in general. He was an absolute monster. And so it could be kind of concerning for anybody looking at this and saying, why is he going back? Because he was already so good, what more is there for him to prove? Well, let's go over onto Jerome Barube's Twitter account. He is the director of scouting for Scouting Service. I think everybody kind of knows what Scouting Service is. He's a draft guy. He scouted the NHL Draft, also was a scout for the QMJHL Draft from 2013 to 2019. He published a very informative Twitter thread that goes over Devin Levi and just the entire decision-making process that he has exhibited throughout the past few years of his life. And I say life and not career because this kind of is a life thing. In regards to Levi not signing with the Sabres and going back to Northeastern, here is a long thread that might explain the thought process behind it. If you look at his history, he has always made decisions that made sense for him, but they were never really the expected decisions that other people would have made. Let's go back to 2018. All right, now before we proceed further, let's take a look at his actual statistical profile from 2017-2018. He was playing for the Lac St. Louis Lions in the QMAAA. Back then, 4 years ago, he would have been 16 years old, and he had a .927 save percentage in 26 games played and a .298 goals against average. He also had a .942 save percentage in the playoffs. In this time frame, he had finished his 2nd season with the Lions, and he was, in Jerome's opinion, the best goalie in the Quebec Midget AAA League. The big decision for him was to either return for a 3rd Midget AAA season or go play Junior A hockey somewhere else. The easy decision for Levi was to go play Junior A hockey to be challenged by better players. Also, players that play 3 years of midget hockey in Quebec usually don't have much pro or even NHL potential. He can only think of Cedric Paquette, who played 3 years, who eventually made it to the NHL. What does he do? He went back to the Lions for his third midget AAA season. His playoff run that year is still talked about as one of the best goaltending performances the league has ever seen. In the semifinals versus Levi, who had a record of 47-1 coming into the series, Levi and the Lions would upset Levi in 5 games, as he would make 53 saves in Game 1, 53 more in Game 2, then 64 in Game 3, 43 saves in Game 4, and 52 saves in Game 5. He would win the playoff MVP as the league's best goalie award. Going over to Levi's third season in the Quebec Midget AAA League, he had a .909 save percentage in the regular season, which isn't that great, and a .937 in the postseason, which was phenomenal. Now, he was 17 at the time, and he was playing in Midget AAA instead of the Junior A scene. And Berube is saying that it's difficult to find players who spend this amount of time playing in Midget AAA who actually do have NHL potential. Now, the next move of Levi's career was about to be made. He was off to play Junior A hockey in his 17 turning 18-year-old year. This was his draft year. However, he did not play in the USHL, BCHL, AJHL, or NAHL. He played in the CCHL instead, allowing him to stay relatively close to home. My reaction at the time was, seriously? Berube says he thought that Levi had NHL potential even as a smaller goalie, but the CCHL? He couldn't even remember the last player from there to get drafted into the NHL, and it's his job to know this stuff. Well, what does he know? He was drafted anyway and was spectacular all year long. Levi, playing for the only CCHL year he had a .941 save percentage and a .147 goals against for the Carleton Place Canadiens. Now, playing for the CCHL, he was the best goaltender by far. He made the first All-Star team. He had the lowest goals against award. He had the most shutouts. He was the MVP of the league. He had the most wins. He had the top prospect award too. He was the CJHL's top goaltender as well. He won all these awards playing in a lower Junior A league, and was good enough to get him selected 7th round by the Florida Panthers. We've already documented that story, so just moving along here. His play in the CCHL was simply fantastic, but I believe his play at the World Junior A was crucial to getting him drafted by Florida in the 7th round. He took Canada East to the finals in this event and was the tournament MVP. And in that little tournament, he had a .917 save percentage in 6 games played. Definitely pretty solid as a 17 turning 18-year-old player playing in the U19 tournament. The bottom line is, don't doubt Levi and his decision-making. He has proven many times that nobody knows what's best for Levi better than Devin Levi. He's kind of like Roddy Piper. When you think you have all the answers, he changes the questions. Oh man, I love that quote. And to end off this entire conversation, we're going to go over one more thing that I think is absolutely pivotal to this entire profile that he has as a prospect. One last thing about Levi. His number one quality as a goaltender is his mental game. More precisely, his belief in himself. Here's a quick story. I remember listening to an interview he did with Guy Fleming on the Pipeline Show in his draft year. This was one of the best interviews Jerome Berube has heard from a draft-eligible player ever. He gave an amazing answer when Guy asked about smaller goaltenders in today's NHL. And then there's a video attached where Levi goes into some pretty good arguments as to why smaller goaltenders are sort of unjustified when talking about NHL caliber goaltending and how he believes in himself that he'll be able to be good as well. He talks about what makes other goaltenders so good. He brings up examples in the NHL from that time frame in 2019 and 2020, and you can definitely tell that Levi has a good head on his shoulders when it comes to analyzing what makes things so effective as a goaltender and how small goaltenders can compensate for them not being 6'5". He talks about how he's had 6'5", 6'6" partners before and how he's always come away with the starting job. The belief that he has in himself is astounding. And the fact is, he has done nothing but prove himself right every step of the way. The video with the interview will be linked in the description as well as the rest of the thread if you want to go ahead and see this for yourself. And you might not agree with everything that Levi talks about, but he believes 100% of what he is saying. His confidence is immeasurable, and there's a high amount of research and thought process that he has in that answer. And so, when it comes to Devin Levi, the worst thing you can do, at this point at least, is doubt the guy. He might be taking a very unorthodox path to the NHL, but if there's anything that we have learned about this guy over the past few years, it's that he knows what's right for him, and everywhere he has gone, he's taken higher and higher steps because of it. So, talk to me in the comments all your thoughts about Devin Levi and the prospect profile he possesses, the fact that he is going back to Northeastern for what is going to be a second year of playing. How do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to win even more awards? Hobie Baker maybe this time? Let me know in the comments all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this. Roll 99. And bye.